We have this bad boy right here, and I'm sure you've seen this box before. It is the 23andMe. Shout out to my mother-in-law, she got this for me. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Here we go, here we have the box. Comes in this little tiny package. We're gonna be filling to that line with all spit and no bubbles. That's a lot of spit. I'm back. That took a little bit of time. I didn't realize it was gonna be that much spit. I thought it was literally just gonna be like a little and that's it, but it was not. Ooh. Ah! Shake the tube for 5 seconds. Here's our little baggie. Here is the finished product. We basically pop it back in this bad boy and we're good to go. See you soon. We are back with my 23andMe results. I am super excited to go over these today. I'm excited to talk you guys through my 23andMe ancestry composition. So let's get straight into it. For those of you that don't know, I am half white and half Mexican. My mom is white, my dad is Mexican, so that's kind of what I've grown up knowing my whole life. I am a little bit more white passing than not. Some people are like, oh girl, you look Latina. Some are like, girl, you're just white. So I've literally had all of that my entire life, but my name is Albina Coronado, so as you can imagine, when people hear my last name, they're like, oh girl, you Mexican or what? And I'm like, yes. Let's go ahead and get into these results. I'm 100% Albina, so that's great. As no surprise to anyone, literally nobody, okay, nobody is surprised, the first thing that comes up is 72% European. Are we surprised? No, I don't think so. Let's get a little bit more into that. I know growing up, my mom was always telling me like, yeah, like we have family from, you know, Scotland, Ireland, things like that. It gives me a little bit more detail as far as exactly where my ancestors came from, so let's get into that. We have the 72% European, so let's go into a little bit of a breakdown of what that looks like. 45.5% is Northwestern European. That does sound about right. So to break that down even a little bit further, we have British and Irish, 28.3%, and that kind of comprises of Greater London in the United Kingdom. Yes! So a little fun fact, Ebony has been to London, I have not, and she's like, you are going to love it. She's like, I know you are. And now that's where my ancestors are from. Like, I know I'm gonna love it. I know it's gonna be a place that's just gonna, you know, even more so now, because before it was a special place in my heart because, you know, obviously Ebony's been there, she loved it, she's always said I'm gonna love it, so I was really excited. But now I'm like, hey, like, okay London, like let's see what you got for me. And then we have 5.9% French and German, which is, that's really cool. And then broadly Northwestern European at 11.3%. And then we get into my favorite part of this entire breakdown is Southern European, so that's 21.3%, and 15.5% of that is Spanish and Portuguese. So specifically Spain, yes. Those of you that don't know, and I've been learning a little bit more since I have been able to look at my ancestry, the Spaniards did colonize parts of Mexico. All right. So again, I'm mentioning my last name because for the 15.5% that is from Spain, that is a more Spanish name. When I do look up the origins, that is what I have found, so that's really cool to see. I'm so excited to learn more about my Spanish side. It's always been something that's like near and dear to my heart. Since I did grow up half white and half Mexican, I never felt, you know, white enough for the white people or Mexican enough for the Mexican people. So I just, after this kind of experience, I just really want to embrace my Latin culture and just learn as much as I can about it while my dad is still here with me. I really want to get more into it and learn more Spanish. I do know how to speak Spanish. It's not the greatest, but I can hold, you know, little conversations. So 5.8% broadly Southern European, 0.9% Jewish, and then broadly European is 4.3%. So that comprises the 21.3% of the rest of the European side of myself. Next on the list, we have East Asian and Native American at 15.2%. Growing up as well, my mom always kind of told me, yeah, like we do have some sort of Native American in us. We have 13.3% Native American, 0.2% is Chinese and Southeast Asian, and then 1.7% broadly East Asian and Native American. So we have 4.2% Sub-Saharan African, 2.8% West African, and then it goes into a little bit more detail. The last portion, it says recent ancestry in the Americas, and then it says Mexico and Central America, and then it says Sinaloa, Mexico. So to have that connection and to see that on my ancestry just made me so happy, and it just gave me a little bit more validation. Obviously I know who my dad is, I know who my mom is, but I feel like that doesn't always, you know, translate into like the feelings that you get and, you know, being a part of, you know, different communities and different cultures. So I feel so much more empowered to really explore, just to kind of give you guys a rundown of how the experience was for me now that we've gone through my ancestry, which is so exciting. The overall process took about a month. So I got the kit. My lovely mother-in-law got it for me, so shout out to you, Yvonne, thank you. The overall experience took about a month and a half, and then the specific one that I got is actually the Ancestry and Health. So I did want to go over some of the traits that it kind of talks about, and it's so funny because some of these traits I'm like, ooh, how did you know that about me? This one's actually kind of funny. It says 52% chance that you do not have dimples. Y'all see these right here? I definitely have dimples, okay? Dandruff. I know this is like random, but 70% chance you've had dandruff. Y'all, that is like one of my biggest issues with my hair. Leave a tip down below, but I don't know what it is. I have the worst dandruff ever. It's been so bad for the past couple years. I try everything and nothing helps. Earlobe type, 50-50 that I have a detached earlobe. Earwax type, what? 93% chance you have wet sticky earwax. I can't say they're lying, even though it's like TMI, like okay. And then we got a 19% chance of light brown eyes. I definitely feel like I have light brown eyes, like between light brown and like dark hazel, if you will. Finger length ratio, 54% chance your ring finger is longer than your index finger. So that's obviously not true. Freckles, 58% chance you have a lot of freckles. I don't have freckles. I wish I did. They are so cute, but my sister actually has a ton of freckles and they are freaking adorable. 41% chance of slightly wavy hair. That is absolutely correct. My hair isn't like super curly, but it's definitely not straight. 43% chance of dark brown hair. Definitely got the dark brown hair on deck. This is actually my natural hair color. 63% chance you have a longer big toe. I mean, yeah, I guess. 69% chance you do not have a widow's peak. I do not have a widow's peak up there. And that's kind of like some of the ones they go through. I think it's kind of fun kind of see those and just be able to kind of look at it, you know, from a more scientific standpoint. And you're like, oh my god, yeah, like I have that, or like I don't have that. So overall, I would rate this 10 out of 10. I would definitely suggest that if you have the option to do it, definitely do it. A couple of things that are shared on the Ancestry website, on the 23andMe website, which I think is great. I think that, you know, if a lot more people took this, you know, Ancestry DNA kit, it would show that we're a lot more connected than a lot of people like to think. A lot of people like to think that, you know, they are just white or just this or, you know, just that. But in reality, you know, because of the unfortunate events of European colonizers, we are a lot more connected than we think. So want to read a couple of excerpts from the 23andMe website just to give you guys some insight on what it says. It says, Albina, your DNA suggests that 13.3% of your ancestry is Native American, which we know. The first humans to reach the New World populated much of North, Central, and South America within just a few thousands of years, following their arrival from Northeast Asia around 15,000 years ago. Despite drastic population losses over the past 500 years as a result of exposure to old world diseases and genocide at the hands of European colonizers, the genetic legacy of these early American trailblazers persists to this day, primarily in Central and South America. That they share little excerpts like this to kind of give people guidance and to shed light on what happened and why this is a part of, you know, everyone's DNA in essence, and specifically my DNA in this case. So the next portion for the little excerpt is West African. For over a millennium before European colonizers and the Atlantic slave trade, West Africans were united under a series of powerful empires, resulting in broad similarities in music, clothing, art, and cuisine. The gradient of genetic similarity extending from Senegal to Nigeria reflects a richly complex population history in a region home to over 350 million people who form hundreds of distinct ethnic groups. During the time of the slave trade at the Atlantic, there was a lot of rape of the African women that were brought here, and that is exactly how the, you know, about 4% is now part of my ancestry. It was kind of an exciting moment for my mother-in-law to see that I was, you know, about 4% sub-Saharan African, but again, it doesn't, you know, take away how that got into my ancestry. But again, I did have that little moment with my mother-in-law, so that was kind of like the silver lining for me. So overall, I'm so happy that I was able to do this. I'm so happy that I was able to, you know, learn a little bit more about myself, and now it's all up to me. The world is literally my oyster, and I can, you know, take it and learn more about, you know, certain parts of myself, certain parts of the world. And I should have done this before, but now this is just another reminder for me to go out there and learn more. So I really hope you guys enjoyed all of this. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about me, and I hope this encourages you guys to learn more about you and to remember that we are all so much more connected than we lead to believe. Make sure you guys subscribe before you go, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.